startups. We're going to the next three companies for today. First one up is Mario from Duma Engineering, who will first present his company. Mario, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everybody. So I'm Mario Mantasci. I'm one of the founders of Duma Engineering, and I'm very pleased to be with all of you tonight, for me tonight, for you in the morning. I wanted to share this screen. Hopefully you can see it. On my screen I can see it, so I hope you can. Duma Engineering, just to make it a little bit short here. Duma Engineering was founded in 2010. Is basically an engineering company. We started to work with aerospace at the beginning and mechanical industry. We developed a pretty good solutions for the aerospace, especially in the interior and some landing gear systems. We went into renewable energy pretty recently, 4 or 5 years ago maximum. So we changed our focus. We shifted our focus from the aerospace industry into the renewable energy, into the green energy, which seems is the topic of this year's. We were exposed through a customer to some aspect of producing and filtering gases, especially green hydrogen. So obtaining green hydrogen from mixtures of gas. This was our first really approach to one of the problems. Nowadays, we are so focused into the industry that we really want to become a leader of the industrial ecology, the new ecology. In the future, I think we all hope, will be more green in terms of sustainability. So we want also that the business start approaching their own activities, their own operation with more sustainable mind and sustainable tools. During the years, we developed some systems, but in particular, we focus on one. Lots of the problems that we have seen in having green hydrogen, renewable natural gas for decarbonization, is the fact that it's not easy to reach a point where the efficiency of the systems, the economic of the systems, and the time to market of the system, it's really achievable. It takes time. There's lots of technology at the moment in development. So we focus on something that was alternative to the main stream of technology for producing green hydrogen, which is the electrolysis. Everybody knows about that, I think. I don't have to explain much. Electrolysis is basically nowadays considered the baseline. Sorry?
We lost connection with your presentation.
Oh, sorry.
We don't see your presentation anymore.
Oh, I don't know why. Sorry, let me check. Can you see it now?
Yes, and maybe you can put it on full screen too while you're there.
Yes. I think because I have two windows open. So the decarbonization is one aspect. We know that the green hydrogen can produce by electrolysis of water. This system, it's proven to work. Lots of big companies, lots of big systems nowadays developed around the world. The problem is the requirement of electricity is high. You need to use renewable electricity to generate hydrogen. And there is unfortunately high requirement in terms of capex. So the capital cost of the system is considerably high, which keep the cost per kilogram of the hydrogen generated with the system quite high at the moment. Duma has been researching from this new way of generating in a cost-effective way the hydrogen that is not electrolysis. So we turn our head into the biomasses. We started engaging in a project with some institution in Europe, the University of Vienna and the University of L'Aquila in Italy. So both of them, they had developed systems in the past of different type to generate syngas, rich syngas from different biomasses. So we developed now, we started working with them to the point that we understood that there were lots of inefficiencies in the systems and lots of improvements to be done in terms also, especially of generating directly hydrogen from pyrolysis of biomasses. After 3 years, we started developing our own system. We patented. In 2021, the Canadian Research Council, so the National Research Council of Canada, decided to award us an IREP, so a funding. They believed that our technology was worth it. So that pushed us to the next step, where we developed our demonstrator, we tested it, and we understood that we are now capable of generating a syngas that has 50% or more of hydrogen content in volume, which is considerably higher than the average generation through biomass gasification. In the past, the average value was around 20-25% maximum, very close to 30, but never exceeded that. So in some cases, with some biomasses we have tested, we reached also the 54% of hydrogen in volume. So this is a very, very good result, to the point that now we are building a 200 kilowatt demonstrator here in Canada. We have had interest from different industry. The forestry industry is one of them, agricultural sector, so for scrap and residues of the agricultural areas in Canada, but in North America in general, they are very interested in the system. The system has a slightly over compared to the electrolysis, slightly higher operation cost, but has considerably lower capex. So on the long run, it's much more convenient and much cheaper to produce extract hydrogen this way than currently with the electrolysis. Also, the byproduct of the system of the process are bioashes that have been proven to be a very good fertilizer. So it's a sort of circular economy in this. Duma so has patented this new dual fluidized bed. This new technology is 60% smaller, 40% cheaper of any other type currently in the market. It's a high efficiency, so it doesn't use any additional energy from outside. There's a balanced zero system, so it self-sustains the reaction of pyrolysis without any additional energy input from the outside. Can use a large variety of biomasses as feedstock. We have tested probably 57 or 58 different type of biomasses today, up to now, with different results. But I would say that the majority of them, they give us a syngas that has a hydrogen content close to the 50%, in some cases exceeding the 50%. The other advantage of the technology is that there is no toxic fumes or flies, and no tires are developed in the process. So,
Mario, we have time. We have time for one question. Maybe it's good if you go to slide 4, and then I like to ask you one question.
Sure.
So, in terms of the CTA ASEAN Cleantech program that we're running today, can you explain, please, to the audience, are you looking to sell green hydrogen, or are you looking to sell the plants, the setups that you're producing?
Well,
or are you looking to license this technology?
Right. So the first approach would be probably to provide the technology to some customers and clients, which can be in the form of building and operating. So starting basically the plant in one of the areas of our interest. Southeast Asia is absolutely one of the top targets for this technology, in our opinion. So the technology would be licensed, or we are able to even provide the turnkey system to the client. As a second option, we also thought about a business model where we are producing the hydrogen, but it's very dependent from the location, very dependent from the commercial network of the area. So as a first choice, I would say that we would like to sell the plant and or license the technology.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry, but we are gonna have to end it here. I'm
Sure.
gonna launch the poll again. If you really like to follow up with Mario from Duma Engineering, please indicate it here by voting or go to the reception area to schedule a meeting with them, with him, and to learn more about Duma Engineering. In the meantime, I like to invite Jean and Tom to the stage. So I'll give you access now. Thank you very much, Mario.
Thank you.
And more people like to learn more about Duma Engineering. That's always great to see. Tom and Jean, I see you on screen, but I don't see your video yet. Yes, you're there. I'll close the poll. And we'll wait a second for Jean to... Jean, you're still on mute. Yes, there you are.
There we go. Sorry about that. And I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen.
Sure. At the bottom, you see a black button with a square and an arrow pointing up. Press that one.
Okay, got it.
The floor is yours.
All right. So once again, I'm Tom, and I'm CTA program lead for this program with the High Commission of Canada and Singapore. And I will introduce Jean to everyone to the floor. And over to you, Jean, with your presentation.
Thanks. It's not coming up to. Just going to try it again. Hold on. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, I think I have. Okay, I have it open in my desktop and not on the screen. So I'm just going to switch. Hold on for a sec. So it only, oh, wait. Okay, got it.
Jean, I will share my screen for you. Then just tell me when to click.
Okay, I've got slightly different slides, but hold on, I think I've got it. Just a sec. Can you see
It's
my
loaded.
screen now?
It was loading and it's disappeared.
No, that was me.
Okay, let me just try one more time.
There you go.
Okay, and let me just view.
Slideshow at the top to the right.
There we go. There. So sorry about that. I'm usually slightly more tech savvy than that, but not much. But I'd like to thank you for your time today. As a brief introduction, FuelPositiv is a company that we're dedicated to acquiring and commercializing clean, sustainable, and economically viable environmental solutions that can be deployed in the short term and not the long term. Our initial technology is a system for producing green ammonia. Right now, we are in the demonstration prototype phase, and our system is designed to produce green ammonia on site for a wide variety of uses. Carbon-free fertilizer and carbon-free fuel. Is a disruptive technology, decarbonizes and decentralizes ammonia production. Right now, ammonia is a bit of a paradox. It's been used for over 100 years and is essential for food security. There's probably about 200 million tons consumed annually worldwide, and 80% of that is used for agriculture. And in fact, some of the industry associations and fertilizer associations around the world will actually claim that over 50% of the world's population survival depends on ammonia. But traditional methods rely on fossil fuels for production and for shipping. They have massive centralized plants. They use coal and other fossil fuels as both as a feedstock and also to power the plant. And then the product is transported to distribution system and then transported to the end user. So most estimates now sort of claim that for every ton of ammonia that's produced, there's almost globally 3 tons of CO2 are emitted in the process. And so it's earned the nickname of gray ammonia. The other problem that farmers are facing is the supply chain is increasingly unreliable due to climate change. There's fires, floods, and prices are extraordinarily unstable, especially the last few years. Our technology, which has a patent pending, allows us to build decarbonized and decentralized green ammonia production plants. Our system consists of what you've heard. I mean, we're all sort of talking similar things.
Sorry, Jean. I think your slides are not moving. Perhaps you have 2 screens. Do you have?
Are you seeing 2 screens?
I'm seeing your slides, but it's not moving. It's not in presentation mode.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
It's moving now. Yeah, we're on slide 7.
Okay, I'm just going to go back to where I was. So,
okay.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. This was just the ammonia, and so I'll just leave. I'll take it off presentation mode because clearly it's not working. So this is a sort of a schematic of our technology. And it allows us to sort of build these decarbonized and decentralized green ammonia production plants. So the system consists of nitrogen generators to produce nitrogen from air, an electrolyzer to produce hydrogen from water, and our novel patented ammonia synthesis converter to produce green ammonia from the nitrogen and the hydrogen. Unlike gray ammonia, our system can operate using sustainable source of electricity, such as solar, wind, or hydro. And that's why we can make truly green ammonia with no carbon emissions. And it's part of our sort of secret sauce, if you will, is that our system doesn't need to work with in a steady state. It can go on and off if required. We call it a plant in a box because the systems are modular and portable. They're being built to fit within standard 20 and 40-foot shipping containers. And this means they can be easily shipped direct to location where the green ammonia is needed. And their output can be scaled up or down depending on the needs of the end user. This is sort of an ideal situation for ammonia. I mean, ammonia can be used for a number of things besides fertilizer, but typically it's not right now because of the carbon intensity. But you can use ammonia as a fuel and for some other items. So in our perfect world, we can see that on this farm, you're using the water and air go into the FuelPositiv system to power this, and is powered by sustainable electricity sources, in this case, some windmills and some solar. The farmer can use the green ammonia as fertilizer injected into the soil, and ultimately he'll be using the tractor will be fueled by green ammonia fuel, and it can also will be using the fertilizer fertilized greenhouse operations. Our green ammonia can be used as fuel for grain drying and to power any other farm systems, including generators for backup power. Once a farmer has a sustainable electricity grid on the farm, their supply of green ammonia will be steady, no price fluctuations year after year. And our value proposition basically is that it gives the end user autonomy over their fertilizer supply and costs. The single largest cost for farmers is fertilizer, and every ton produced on farm is 1 ton less purchased. As you can see, the cost to produce a green ammonia is well below the average price being paid now for traditional ammonia. And we're using Manitoba as a grid because that's where our first systems are going in. They've told us that the price of gray ammonia has risen from $600 to $1,200 per ton over the 6 months early last year and is now well over $2,400 per ton. Our cost to produce the same amount of green ammonia using our system on the farmer's land would be under $600 per ton. Our first demonstration system is going onto the farm later this year. We have 2 additional demonstration systems that will closely follow. And what we're doing there is making the system smaller and, again, more efficient to create some cost efficiencies. And we plan to start production of the final prototype systems in 2024. And that's us.
Thanks. Thank you, Jean, for sharing technology in green ammonia production. Just a few questions I had. If you could tell us more about your revenue model, and are you looking to sell green ammonia or your plants, or if you want to license your technology to the ASEAN markets?
Could you guys see any of my slides?
Yes.
Okay, because I just saw a sign saying please share, and so yeah, we are actually selling the systems, so they will be owned. Right now we are looking at Western Canada and the U.S., where farmers and everyone is used to using anhydrous ammonia, but we are also talking to. We've opened up sort of pre-sales on our website, and we're getting calls from all over the world. But right now, the business model is that we're actually selling the units.
Great. So actually, I'm really conscious of time. Maybe just one more question. So after learning about the ammonia markets in Southeast Asia, where would you say, or who would you say are your target business connections?
I think, because we've been getting calls from all over, and we know that we're providing the farmers a really good return on investment. What's interesting for us is that we want to get to know the markets and know who the players are and what type of business model works to go into those markets. Our main interest in doing this is reduction of carbon credits, but also food security. And there's a number. The countries that I've been learning about, their needs are vastly different, but within that they've got some real needs for fertilizer, and we would like to work with those companies to try and supply that.
Great, thank you so much, Jean.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about the technology.
No problem. Thank you, Jean. I'll head it back to Robin.
Thank you very much, Jean and Tom. I will quickly launch a poll again for everybody to indicate if you want to learn more about FuelPositiv and get in touch with Jean. In the meantime, I'm also inviting Sharfri and Sharat on the stage to present Quadrical AI. Give me a few seconds. Okay, Sharat's already there. Welcome, Sharat. Sharfri, welcome back. I'm going to close the poll and we're going to move right away on. The floor is yours.
Yes, Hi again. Well, this time we will be talking to Quadrical AI, and Sharat will be presenting their technology to us. Sharat, the stage is yours.
Give me just 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, we see your slides.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sharat Singh. I'm co-founder and CEO at Quadrical AI. In this talk, I'm going to share benefits of digital twins and how our asset management platform delivers those benefits to you. So towards managing climate change, renewable energy adoption has great momentum and significant growth ahead of us. Already, we are looking at 8x growth over the next 25 years, where we would be by end of 2050, we would be about 13% of global energy demand. Now, while the fuel is free, there are certain unique challenges for renewable energy. First being the number of endpoints is large and distributed, making discovery and resolution of issues and managing these renewable assets a little bit more difficult. Over time, asset prices have come down significantly, but the operating and maintenance costs are still high. Uh, Asset yield needs to be predictable to work along with other energy classes, and assets need to be maintained over 20 to 30 years. So these are certain unique things that are there with the renewable technology. And this is where we come in, where we don't believe the old Excel and the workflow based tools are going to be enough to manage thousands of distributed assets, be it inverter, combiner boxes, batteries, strings. To that end, we have delivered and built the most sophisticated and scaled data platform, which is ingesting, cleansing, and normalizing huge amounts of plant and IoT data in real time. On top of this platform, we have also built a best in breed in terms of monitoring, visualization, and ticket management. But most differentiated is our baked in AI and digital twin that allows us to do revenue prioritized tickets, do predictive maintenance, be able to forecast capacity, yield, and demand, and finally be able to do dispatch optimization. Finally, we also deliver tons of standard KPI reports, alerts, and variety of portfolio dashboards, making getting started with our platform very easy. For your performance engineers, they can also extend the platform, all of these capabilities using our no-code framework. I want to use a small illustration to walk us through as to how digital twins help us with predictive maintenance. Firstly, our digital twin is a model that's an exact replica of a physical device, which pretty much takes inputs such as irradiance from pyranometer and generates outputs such as a benchmark yield. So in this simulation, let's look at a plant being provisioned in 2019. Its commissioning happens in 2020. At the end of 2020, we take a snapshot of how the plant is operating and quote unquote put a copy of a digital twin in the cloud for ourselves. Time goes by, we do a similar thing at the end of 2021. We do another thing in 2022, and then today we might be sitting in March of 2023 and wondering, why did I do all this work and what's the benefit? So in the simplest of form, I can take the TMY3 data in terms of the irradiance input to my digital twins in 20 and 22, and at the granular level I can understand how my plant has degraded in the long term. I can also take the output, the actual output from the plant, feed the same pyranometer input to my digital twin, and then I can see my open tickets and issues which are currently going on. And I don't have to look at aggregate data, I can look at anomalous data. All of that data is available in real time. That gets pattern matched with all the patterns we understand to finally generate work orders which are classified and revenue prioritized. So this again illustrates an example as to how AI and digital twin technology can be used for predictive maintenance. Using similar approaches, we're able to improve the plant yield by 2 to 4%, improve the capacity utilization of a storage facility by 5 to 7%, overall improve the efficiency by O&M efficiency by 15 to 20%. And last, not but not the least, our automated pipelines are able to deliver value to our customers by being able to provide a 15-day audit or a 46-day full platform onboarding. Now, our typical customers are IPPs who also want to do their own O&M. They can also be O&M companies. The typical customers could have anywhere from 20 to hundreds of sites. Clearly, we work with solar storage as well as the hybrid plants. And then from a scale perspective, each one of the sites could be anywhere from 100 kilowatts to gigawatt in size. We have fairly robust group of customers. Our product is well proven in the market. We have about 2.3 gigawatts across 80 solar sites and 2.6 gigawatt hours across 5 storage sites. That's pretty much it. Would love to hear any questions and see how we can partner with the ASEAN countries on our product.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Sharat. I think the digital twin technology is really interesting. I actually saw that quite a few of your customers are publicly listed or large companies. Would this also work for smaller scale sites and portfolios?
Excellent question. We actually started building out the what I call a Ferrari scale product, and then reduce the scale to smaller size products. So as you can see, we do have sites which go all the way up to gigawatts, but we also manage sites at 100 kilowatt and higher. So yes, as long as the overall number of sites is more than 20, and the overall and or the portfolio is more than 200 megawatts, that works excellent with the product.
Mm-hmm. And what is your engagement model? Like, how does the pricing work? What is the expected deployment timeline?
We are pretty much everything is a SaaS model, and we charge by initial setup, and then in terms of the annual cost per either site or in terms of the megawatts. As I said, it takes us our typical anywhere from 20 to 100 sites with anywhere from 100 megawatts to 500 megawatts. We are able to onboard in about 45 days and have it up and running. We also have a short engagement model to do audits on individual sites that can take as little as 15 days.
Right. And do you need a specialized hardware on the site? How does it work?
Yeah, we are completely hardware agnostic. We work with every inverter manufacturer, variety of panel types, panel technologies, as well as on the storage side. We're completely hardware agnostic. We do have RTU servers that we do market for any customers who are having issues with their current RTUs or need higher quality equipment for better data collection.
Mm-hmm. And suppose I were monitoring my portfolio of 150 sites. I would love that. But suppose I were, and it's across 5 different inverter portals. Like, would you be able to pull that into your platform?
Yes. So we do have a lot of customers who are working with variety of inverter portals, and then they have to kind of scrape data and work across these inverter portals. So we work across the inverter portal APIs, and we're able to pull all of that data into our data lake and then make the platform available to you.
Great. Well, that's all the questions I had. Robin, I guess we have time to launch the poll now. Thank you so much, Sharat, for sharing about Cortical's really unique technology. One question has always been about using renewables, and now you're actually improving on that as well. So I think that's a really great value that you're bringing there.
Thank you so much, Sharbari.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharat and Sharvari, for presenting Quadrical.ai. I think that was, again, very interesting. Thank you all companies for doing your presentation just now. We're now making a little bit of a switch in what we're going to discuss. We have our closing speaker for today, Edwin Chang from NG Factory, who's now joining the stage. I have too many screens, so in the meantime, I'm full, so I can see a little bit more. Hi, Edwin.
Hi, how's it going?
Good morning. Oh, I had you on the screen and now you're gone again. Sorry. Edwin, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, there you are. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining the CTA ASEAN Cleantech startup ramp event. We just had a couple of companies introduce themselves from Canada who are looking to expand to the ASEAN region. We want to have a short talk with you about the ASEAN region because you know everybody in this space that's working in cleantech. For those who don't know you yet, can you first please introduce yourself and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. Before I just go into that, thank you for having me. I'm super inspired by the startups that have been presented. It's been really inspiring to see some of the technologies and the jumps made. So thank you for sharing that with us. My side, I'm Edwin Chiang from NG Factory. We're based in Singapore. NG Factory is a corporate venture building arm of the NG group. So NG being a Paris headquartered multinational organization, really focused on the transition towards a net zero, low zero carbon world through the energy space. So we, over the last 5 years, have really focused our global proposition on accelerating the adoption of renewable energy products, as well as helping with energy efficiency. Now, as you can imagine, so from a corporate space, and corporates and their customers can only move at a certain speed. And very much like a lot of the companies here, there's ability to move a lot faster when you work as a startup. But also moving to the space, it can be challenging, right? There's barriers to entry from knowledge, from funding, etc. And so we're hoping and we're trying through corporate venture building to bring together the spirit of entrepreneurs, the agility, the mobility, and the passion, and marry that with the knowledge that NG brings from operating for like 100 or so years. So we've been around, NG Factory has been around since 2019. We started off building ventures only in Singapore. And in the last couple of years, we've expanded to including Australia. And now we're looking to build our first couple of ventures in other regions, potentially like the Middle East. And so that's what we as NG Factory do.
That's a great bridge to my next question. So like you said, the program was set up roughly 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. In your experience in those past few years, are there one or two major trends that you see in the energy sector in the APAC region?
It's interesting. So I think the last COVID, for one of the better things it did for us was to put massive focus on energy efficiency. So in Singapore, at least, and I think it's moving across Southeast Asia, there's a massive focus on reducing energy consumption across the board. As you can imagine, when you live in sort of 30 degrees heat the whole time, air conditioners run quite consistently. So there's a big focus on that. The move towards sort of more renewable energy sources is potentially a little bit more challenging. Markets here aren't necessarily open. So the benefits that you could normally get, for instance, from selling energy back to the grid is not always there. But we're seeing it open and sort of transitioning, especially in places like Malaysia and Philippines. We're hoping that grows out across Southeast Asia as well. Other technologies, such as biomass and wind, etc. There's been little bits of that here that I've seen, but nothing that's been taking off. And very much the focus has been around sort of solar energy here.
So when you say that, right, like the focus is on reducing energy consumption, not necessarily the sustainability part of it. I think you've heard all the presentations for today. Do you think countries in the region are already ready for the types of solutions that we were listening to this morning? Like where are we at in Southeast Asia on that stage?
I think so. I think what we're seeing is there's more awareness and more desire from organizations here, both at government level as well as private levels to do something here. I think one thing to be aware of is you probably all know is that it's a global supply chain, right? So with your end customers really having a focus on sustainability, it trickles down, and a lot of manufacturing and production is done in this part of the world or in Asia in general. I think my advice on that one is finding a good local partner to work with is super important. This is very much from my experience, it's very much a region that works on relationships. To get that first step in, that second step in, you really need to have someone who understands and can help you navigate the various relationships and sort of networks of connections here. And without that, it's doable. It just becomes a lot harder. So finding that right person or company that can help you is massively beneficial.
Yeah, totally agree. My own experience. It's actually what this program is for. So that what we hope to help the companies with. The presentations today, in some cases, were quite technical, like focusing on the innovative part of what these companies do. Do you think like being one of the best solutions or being very competitive in terms of pricing makes a huge difference for them to enter the market as well? Or is it really getting people on the ground and building those relationships?
It's a bit of both. I think the first thing is like, having people who can really understand what the customer needs, right? So making sure you've got the right solution for the person, for the customer. The other one really is sort of the economics of it. From my experience here, sustainability is important, but money is more important. And so if your solution is not economically viable, at the very minimum equivalent to what their current solutions are, it's going to be a really tough challenge to get them to accept it. It's not a place here where, in most cases, people are willing to spend sort of a green premium to have a solution that is sustainable, while negatively impacting their bottom line.
Yeah. So focus on the business case. That's sort of what. Yeah. Okay. A little change in topic. You already presented yourself that NG Factory is part of the NG Group, which is a long-established company, and your job role is to actually work with startups that want to collaborate within NG, help them expand through that network. Based on that experience, do you have one or two examples of what smaller companies like the ones that we had today have to keep in mind while working with big corporates similar to NG?
I think it's fair for every corporate. It's pretty bureaucratic. So be ready for pretty long lead cycles and potentially lots of back and forths. Obviously, the other one is being able to prove that your solution works. So having something, a case study, especially one that they could go down, inspect, look at the data to really prove it's working is really important. While at the moment we really focus on venture building, initially we did a lot of work around sort of actually very similar to what this is, which is looking for startups to help on specific problems within NG. Mm-hmm. What we really liked about that approach and what worked well was running really quick but cheap pilots, but having real outcomes with the business, so that if A, B, and C were achieved, we could move into a commercial contract quite quickly, starting small but growing. For us, that was a nice way to do it. We limited our pilots to sort of 2 to 3 months. In this case, we were looking for solutions for technologies that which were relatively low cost. In the low 5 figures rather than sort of like the 6 figures kind of pilot. That low initial investment from organizations really helps you get in the door. When you ask them to put out like a few $100K for a technology or solution that they have no idea about, and it's quite a big ask.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, we're all aware that corporates work a little bit different than startups, right? But then again, the upside of actually being able to work with them is also very good. So I'm very aware of your time, so I want to go to the final question for today. It's a very different question from the previous ones, but I hope you have an idea about this. So you've been in this space for quite a long time, right? I'm not saying that you should, but if you were to quit your job at NG Factory today, and I would give you $5 million to set up whatever clean tech sustainable company you think is interesting, what kind of company would that be? What I'm basically asking, like, where do you see the biggest potential currently?
For me, I wouldn't go into tech, but I think that's because I'm not an engineer by trade, right? So I find that challenging. But what I would love to build something is around sort of that intersection of finance, banks plus technology. where I look at it, banks have a massive onus on to decarbonize, but they have very little real impact on being able to decarbonize themselves. All of it's through their customers, essentially through the financing. So finding models that helps banks do what they do best, which is loan money out, give money out, but also decarbonize and help their customers out. I think that's a super interesting place to play. So for me, that's the big one. I love all the work that everyone's doing. I think they're far smarter minds than me who are solving the technology problems. But I think it's really the business model of bringing sort of the technology that we have now to customers at a price that is affordable.
Yeah, but it sounds like a very interesting idea. We could basically implement all of the solutions today, for example, for zero interest loans or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a really cool place to play.
Yeah. And it's a very, very Singapore idea. I mean, it's the financial capital of Southeast Asia, right? So it's a good place to come up with something like that.
But I mean, I think you look at, unfortunately, money does make the world go round, and every organization needs financing of some sort to operate. So it's a question of how do you leverage, that need to incentivize sustainability.
Okay. Edwin, very, very much, thank you very, very much for joining here today. Also, thank you very much for joining quite last minute, because we had a chat about this on Friday. I want to thank everybody who today presented as well. I'm not going to name all the names because there's too many, but I do really want to thank my teammates Sharfri and Rishav, who did far away the most work for today, even though you see me popping up on the screen all the time. And obviously, I really want to thank Ritishka and Tom for working with the Startup Buddy on putting together the CTA Cleantech program. I already received during the session a couple of questions about, can I maybe get the deck? Can I get more information about the companies? We have a special program page on the Startup Buddy website where you can find all the companies. We have a chat function there where you can ask questions as well. So please reach out to us to follow up on whatever you thought was interesting. We'll help you set up meetings with them, and then you can follow up from there. That was it for today. We are a little bit over time. Thank you everybody for sticking around, especially Edwin. And we'll hope to see you for future events by the Startup Buddy and Canada Cleantech program. Bye-bye.